Present perfect tense. The present perfect is a verb tense which is used to show that an action has taken place once or many times before now. The present perfect is most frequently used to talk about experiences or changes that have taken place, but there are other less common uses as well. Present perfect forms. The present perfect is formed using has or have plus past participle. Questions are indicated by inverting the subject and has or have. Negatives are made with not. Statement: you have seen that movie many times. Question: have you seen that movie many times? Negative: you have not seen that movie many times. Present perfect uses unspecified time before now. We use the present perfect to say that an action happened at an unspecified time before now. The exact time is not important. You cannot use the present perfect with specific time expressions, such as yesterday, 1 year ago, last week, when I was a child, at that moment, that day, one day, etc. We can use the present perfect with unspecific expressions, such as ever, never, once, many times, several times, before, so far, already, yet, etc. Examples: I think I have met him once before. People have traveled to the moon. People have not traveled to Mars. How do you actually use the present perfect? The concept of unspecified time can be very confusing to English learners. It is best to associate present perfect with the following topics. Experience. You can use the present perfect to describe your experience. It is like saying, I have the experience of. You can also use this tense to say that you have never had a certain experience. The present perfect is not used to describe a specific event. Examples: I have been to France. This sentence means that you have had the experience of being in France. Maybe you have been there once or several times. I have been to France 3 times. You can add the number of times at the end of the sentence. I have never been to France. This sentence means that you have not had the experience of going to France. I think I have seen that animal before. He has never traveled by train. Change over time. We often use the present perfect to talk about change that has happened over a period of time. Examples: you have grown since the last time I saw you. The government has become more interested in arts education. My English has really improved since I moved to Canada. Accomplishments. We often use the present perfect to list the accomplishments of individuals and humanity. We cannot mention a specific time. Examples: man has walked on the moon. Doctors have cured many deadly diseases. An uncompleted action we are expecting. We often use the present perfect to say that an action which we expected has not happened. Using the present perfect suggests that we are still waiting for the action to happen. Examples: he has not finished his homework yet. She hasn't mastered Japanese, but she can communicate. Multiple actions at different times. We also use the present perfect to talk about several different actions which have occurred in the past at different times. Present perfect suggests the process is not complete and more actions are possible. Examples: the army has attacked that city 5 times. I have had 4 quizzes and 5 tests so far this semester. Time expressions with present perfect. When we use the present perfect, it means that something has happened at some point in our lives before now. Remember, the exact time the action happened is not important. Sometimes, we want to limit the time we are looking in for an experience. We can do this with expressions such as in the last week, in the last year, this week, this month, so far, up to now, etc. Examples: have you been to Mexico in the last year? I have seen that animal 6 times in the last month. They have had 3 tests in the last week. Notice: last year and in the last year are very different in meaning. Last year means the year before now, and it is considered a specific time which requires simple past. In the last year means from 365 days ago until now. It is not considered a specific time, so it requires present perfect. Examples: I went to Mexico last year. I went to Mexico in the calendar year before this one. I have been to Mexico in the last year. I have been to Mexico at least once at some point between 365 days ago and now. Duration from the past until now. Non-continuous verbs. With non-continuous verbs and non-continuous uses of mixed verbs, we use the present perfect to show that something started in the past and has continued up until now. For 5 minutes, for 2 weeks, and since Tuesday are all durations which can be used with the present perfect. Examples: I have had a cold for 2 weeks. She has been in England for 6 months. Mary has loved chocolate since she was a little girl.